Good evening and welcome, everyone. Day number 244 on this war since the invasion February 24th in phase 2 of the war. Welcome to you tonight and thank you for being here. 9:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, October the 25th, 2022, 6:01 out in California and 4:01 a.m. in Ukraine. As always, thank you for being here. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for being a part of this community. And thank you for being faithful. Much, much appreciated. Continue to like and to share and to comment and to help us get the message out. We could not do what we're doing without you, and together we are a great team. Zhenya tonight taking a night off. He has been rolling all day long, working on expanding the presence of our NGO in Europe and in America. We are doing some expansion with our documents and our legal papers to give us even more of a presence there in Ukraine and to expand our opportunities. So he's been rolling on that all day long. I have some documents that I'll soon have to fill out, and we'll keep you updated as we grow and get bigger and better suited to support and to help. So with that said, he's getting some rest tonight, and I'm going to give you the update. So thank you for being here. Thank you especially to the mods. You guys do a great job keeping our chat safe from the spam, also encouraging conversation, and just could not do what we do without you. So with all of that said, much, much appreciated. And thank you guys. We're going to jump right in tonight to the update. We're going to start here down in the south. I'm going to give you tonight a couple of map updates. And the first thing we're going to look at is this region here. You can see Kherson, you can see Mykolaiv there, the cities, and I have some arrows and lines drawn. I'm going to explain those to you. I can tell you right now, literally, I was working on some stuff, and just minutes ago, Zhenya sent me some information. He's supposed to be sleeping, but if you see the city there on the upper left, the city of Mykolaiv, Mykolaiv right now is experiencing water shortages, and it was proven today that Russian forces have been cutting off all water supplies to the city of Mykolaiv. So that's just coming in right now. We'll keep more information coming on that as we are updated, but that is what's happening there in Mykolaiv. If you look down toward Kherson, I have lots of things drawn on the map here. We'll start at the top. First, we have the blue arrows. The blue arrows represent the Ukrainian pushes down towards Kherson. From that, you see 3 yellow and pink lines. Those are the 3 major roads coming into the Dnieper River region there from the north. 2 of those roads go to Kherson. 1 of the roads go to Novokakhovka. These roads are vitally important because other than that, this is basically farmland and villages. So these are the 3 main roads that will be fought over the coming weeks and months, hopefully just weeks, as we are looking at taking Kherson. Black dots all along the riverbanks. You're seeing black dots. What is that? Well, the river has been mined on both sides. It has been booby-trapped on both sides, as well as Kherson. The green lines are where Russia is evacuating to citizens of Kherson that they are moving out. They're pulling them over to the West Bank, or they're pushing them down towards Crimea, and Russia is reinforcing on that left side of Kherson. This is going to get uglier in the city of Kherson, and as Zhenya and I have been talking about, we really expect this to be some type of trap. I personally believe Ukraine is going to take Kherson. They're going to take it back, but this may be a very, very heavy cost right now to take Kherson. We shall see. For sure, Ukraine is trying to take Kherson back and liberate all of their property and all of their sovereign territory. But there's something goofy going on in this southern region. I remind you that Russia has occupied Kherson since March. So they have been preparing, not for the retreat, of course, not for giving up this city, but they've been preparing for contingency plans. And that's going to be made very clear here pretty soon. Second thing I want to show you is I want to jump way over to the east. If you look there in the black box, you see the city, the town of Bakhmut. Bakhmut right now is under major assault. I have a pink line drawn there for you. You guys know very well that is the M3 highway, and those that control the M3 highway will control that portion of the Donetsk region. And yes, Zhenya and I were all over the M3 highway when we were there working just weeks ago. Back to the left, you see the city of Konstantinivka. That's the town where Zhenya and I were working at and supplying and helping civilians and helping military. And then straight on the road in, you go past Chasiar and into Bakhmut. Right now, a lot of urban warfare. We've talked about the shelling warfare, but now a lot of urban city type warfare is happening there in Bakhmut. And Bakhmut is very hot. In fact, talking to Zhenya today, we just had some requests for some military help there in Bakhmut, and we will be doing our best to assist those guys. Danilov came out again today. It was either yesterday or the day before. I shared with you some thoughts of Danilov. And he said yesterday that if the bridge was blown, the dam is blown, it would be 5 to 7 years. Well, today another analysis came out, and it was stated, and this is out of Ukraine from Danilov, if the Kakhovska bridge, dam, power plant complex is blown up, Crimea will remain without water supply for 10 to 15 years or maybe indefinitely. Why is this important? This is important because remember, Crimea is the first region that was occupied, annexed, and stolen. And Crimea is like the golden egg that Russia keeps touting. If you mess with Crimea, everything, it will be doomsday for you. It will be judgment for you. Well, if this is blown, Crimea will be cut off from water for 10 to 15 years. If we go off yesterday's statistics, 5 to 7, regardless, 5 to 15 years. Ukraine will not blow that dam. We know that. But Russia will say Ukraine blew it. Ukraine and the world will know that Russia blew it. But in so doing, they will cut off the land, Crimea, that they value so much. So you can see the madness in even the thought process of blowing this dam. Ukraine came out today and they had to respond to the dirty bomb threats and the dirty bomb accusations that are flowing out of Russia right now. Ukraine's nuclear agency warned that Russian forces may be preparing a terrorist act with materials at the occupied Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. Now, I can tell you that for sure Russia is preparing to do this. Of course, they're going to blame Ukraine, but Russia is preparing for this. The allegation comes as Russia doubles down on its claim that Kyiv could use a dirty bomb, saying it will bring the issue to the UN Security Council today on Tuesday. Ukraine is warning. Why are they having to fight against all of the accusations? Well, I'll show you. Let me give you a video clip of one of the talking heads today talking about this regime and that Ukraine is going to be the bad guy here. Check this out.
Я посоветовал бы здравому населению Украины, которое еще сохраняет остатки здравомыслия, бежать на Запад. Иначе действительно взорвут грязную атомную бомбу, будет радиоактивное заражение местности, не будет ни света, ни еды, ни питья. Поэтому бегите миллионами на Запад. Урсула фон дер Ляйен вас ждет. Там приготовлены вам теплые квартиры, одеяла, пособия для беженцев. Бегите в Европу, выживайте там. Это единственный шанс избежать той участи, которую сегодня готовит Киев для своего собственного населения. Да и, в принципе, для зеленского населения Украины это расходный материал. Он не идентифицирует себя ни генетически, ни морально, ни национально с населением Украины. Это расходники, расходный материал. Поэтому для того, чтобы вас не спускали в унитаз, бегите в Европу, спасайтесь там.
Would somebody please explain to me why the world would even listen to that madness? And yes, I share it because this is what's being spread out of Russia at the United Nations, in Europe. It's being pushed. This is the agenda that Ukraine is going to dirty bomb their own nation. So Ukrainians, if you want to survive and you want to escape the evil regime of Kyiv, you need to go to Europe. But there's something at play here that's even bigger. Not bigger than a dirty bomb, but a bigger story that is kind of happening under the surface. I'm going to share more about that with you in just a moment. But you can see this is the rhetoric. This is the madness. And yes, it was on Rossiya 1. It was on their main channels. It's being spread as a message to the world that Ukraine is doing this. And I hate to tell you guys tonight, there's lots of people out there that believe this stuff. Not just Russians. There are people in every country on the earth that believe this stuff. There are Americans that believe this stuff, whatever nation you're from. I know it's hard to believe, but they do. The madness We know, we're here every day. We're on the ground there. It's nothing but lies and rhetoric, but it is setting the stage for Russia to do something very, very, very bad and try to blame it on to Ukraine. Now, I am becoming more and more convinced every day that there is a connection between these two places. I'll give you a second to look at the map there. You can see the little logo we put up there, connected. In the red circle, you have Energodar, which would be the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. In the blue circle, you would have the Kakhovka Bridge, Dam, and Power Plant. Maybe you're wondering, and that's the Dnieper River there coming down. It pushes down the Kherson and then out to the Black Sea. Maybe you're wondering, okay, I wonder how far apart those places are. 75 miles, 120 kilometers. Nothing. Just right down river. Zaporozhye, Nova Kakhovka. These are two places that are very close geographically. And it looks like every day we're hearing more about the nuclear power plant and the Kakhovka Dam. I just believe that this could be a connection for something ugly to happen in the South. You have to understand, Russia is losing the ground war. But Putin's not going to quit. They're not going to go home. They've played their full hand now. The world is evil. The world is against us. NATO is against us. Ukraine is the pawn. We're fighting the world. We're standing for justice. We're the good guys here. We're partnered with China. We're partnered with Iran. We're standing for righteousness. The rest of the world is evil. There's no way they're backing up. And yes, they're losing the ground war. So when you lose the ground war, what do you have to do? You have to do other maddening things to bring the war back to your advantage. That is why I believe it's very possible, with all the rhetoric that we're hearing, that there will be a connection between these two places. Now, I just want to remind you that it was yesterday that Russia released a document and the video showing all the technical analysis and where, if there was a nuclear problem or a dirty bomb or disaster at Zaporozhye, where the fallout would go. And they pushed all of the fallout through Ukraine and into Europe. It never even went into Russia. Ukraine today refuted that with their scientists, and with prevailing winds and weather patterns, they showed where exactly the fallout would go. Of course, it's the absolute opposite of what Russia showed. There is no volume on this. It's just some reference footage, but I'll show it to you right now. This is what was released by Ukraine, and that's coming out of the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. And of course, that's the prevailing winds. It would go north and it would go northeast. Anybody that's ever spent any time in Ukraine would know this is the prevailing wind. So Ukraine released this today to show the world, to show Russia, to show Europe, this is what will really happen if there is a disaster in the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. Now, with the nuclear power plants, we always talk about Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, and it is the most powerful nuclear power plant in all of Europe. It is a monstrosity, but it's not the only one. There are 3 other locations in Ukraine that we need to pay attention to. So I'm just going to drop them out here for you tonight so that you are aware. We have talked about them at various times, but this has been 8 months. We've picked up many new viewers, many new people that watch updates daily. So the other 3 locations where Ukraine has nuclear power plants is in Mykolaiv area, just up from Mykolaiv. It's called the Southern Ukrainian Nuclear Power Plant. Then over to the left, our home city, Khmelnytsky, we have the Khmelnytsky Nuclear Power Plant. And then Rivne, up in the northwest corner, we have the Rivne nuclear power plant. Very interesting, that nuclear power plant in Rivne being up closer to the Belarusian border, up in that corner there with Poland and Belarus and Ukraine. The Khmelnytsky nuclear power plant, I can tell you this, that if Khmelnytsky had 6 reactors like Zaporozhye did, the Khmelnytsky nuclear power plant would be the most powerful in Europe. They only have the 2 reactors there, or the 2 stations there. But they are extremely powerful. The same thing there in southern Ukraine. But Zaporozhye is just a massive complex. So these are the locations of the nuclear power plants that are located throughout Ukraine. Now, I was talking to you earlier about the dirty bomb. You saw the video from Russia where the talking head is saying, listen, dear Ukrainians, get out now, go to Europe, go to Germany. They have warm apartments for you. It's going to be cold. The dirty bomb. Zelensky's going to destroy Ukraine. All that rhetoric. Now, with that said, Vereshchuk came out today. Irina Vereshchuk, she is the head of the Ministry of Reintegration. She is responsible for example, the green corridors of moving people from danger. She's responsible for refugees. She's responsible for all these type of social ministries out of Kyiv. Vereshchuk, head of the Ministry of Reintegration, called on Ukrainians. Pay close attention to this, please. Really the focus of tonight's program, to be honest. Called on Ukrainians who are currently abroad not to return to Ukraine until spring because of Russian shelling of energy systems. She says if you have the opportunity to spend the winter abroad, it is worth doing so. My friends, this is exactly, unfortunately, what Ukraine is going to have to ask of its citizens that are abroad. But unfortunately, this is also exactly what Russia wants. They want people out. They do not want people there. They want to destroy the infrastructure. They want to destroy the systems. They don't want people coming back that could increase Ukraine's population, that could join the military. No, they just want Ukraine gone, knowing that if they can get them out and keep them out, the likelihood of them returning will be slim and slimmer day by day. So I'm calling this the forced migrant crisis. There you can see the Russian Security Council. Maybe you've seen the news headlines and you've seen different things through this war where it says tomorrow the Russian Security Council will be meeting, and you've wondered, well, who is that? Well, you're looking at them. That's the Security Council. Of course, there I'll call you some names that you know. In the middle there, of course, is Vladimir Putin. Over on the right, and the closest one to you, would be Defense Minister Shoigu. Over on the left, closest to Putin, would be Medvedev, the former president. And second from the left, of course, you recognize Lavrov, foreign minister. This is the Security Council, and I believe that this is a strategy that Russia is using in this war, a forced migrant crisis, a forced migration. So we've got to watch it. This is the purpose, is to get rid of Ukrainians. They don't care how they do it. Kill them, exterminate them, genocide them, freeze them, starve them, make them move to Europe, make them move to foreign countries. Doesn't matter. They want Ukraine wiped off the face of the planet. So a forced migrant crisis. How do you force that? Destroy power systems, destroy food, destroy infrastructure. And folks, it's getting cold there quick. That will force further migration. Now, I want to share with you guys today, we'll change gears. This is from TASS. And of course, you know this news organization in Russia, been around a long time, very famous. I know it says TACC and you want to say TACC, but the C there in the Russian language is an S sound. So, and the A is an A. So it is T to TASS. So that is TASS. This is a headline out of TASS today. You can see at the top, the 25th of October, came out at 4:19 in the afternoon. Top headline translated, the apparatus of the Security Council. Who? These guys. Translated, what that means is after the meeting of the Security Council, Putin, Shoigu, Medvedev, Lavrov, and others, after their meeting, the Security Council of the Russian Federation considers it increasingly urgent to desatanize Ukraine. Headline, TASS. That's the heavy blue, the bold blue. These guys say it's increasingly important and urgent to desatanize Ukraine. Now, the sub-headline, I'll translate it for you perfectly. Assistant Secretary of the Security Council, Alexei Pavlov, pointed out that the Church of Satan, which is spread across Ukraine, is one of the religions officially registered in the United States. Yeah, I'm being silent on purpose. I'm just letting you digest this. I'm letting you digest. This is the headline from TASS today. The Apparatus Security Council Russian Federation considers it increasingly urgent to desatanize Ukraine. Subheadline. The Assistant Secretary pointed out that the Church of Satan, which is spread across Ukraine, is one of the religions officially registered in the United States. Take it from me, one who has spent a lot of time in Ukraine, and just weeks ago you were traveling with me in Ukraine. I've never seen one Church of Satan in Ukraine. Not one. I have seen them in the U.S. I'm sorry. I have. We tell the truth here, but I've never seen one in Ukraine. But people in Russia and other nations buy this stuff, believe it, hook, line, and sinker. That's why we're here every day telling the truth. Last couple of things for tonight's update. Poland looking at building a border wall on Kaliningrad. Russia is using Kaliningrad still. Of course, they have military resources there. Of course, they have a port there. Of course, it's landlocked by Lithuania, Belarus, and Poland. Really just Lithuania and Poland. You've got the little, oh man, I forgot the name of that. And I know somebody in the chat will be putting in the chat now. But surrounded by Lithuania and Poland, Kaliningrad is landlocked that way towards Russia, but they have the port into the Baltic. But Kaliningrad has been used as a point of reference for travel to get in and out of. I know sanctions. I know it's blocked. Yeah, right. Whatever. Not really through certain places and certain lines. So Kaliningrad is being used. But Poland, increasing the stakes and raising the stakes, says, you know what? We're going to put a border wall up against Kaliningrad, the same that we have done against Belarus. All this is going to do, folks, is continue to stir the pot. Finally, last couple of things for tonight. Today, we were in a meeting, the church office there, and our communications coordinator came up to me and says, PG, got a question for you, and I can't answer it. I said, what are you talking about? She goes, well, we received a message on our Facebook that asked, have we been in the occupied zone of the war in Russia and Ukraine? I said, what? So let me see that. So I took it and she goes, can you answer this, please? She gave me the iPad where she was, or the computer where she was looking at the information. And it was basically a message that says, we see that you've been traveling in Ukraine. We see that you've been putting information up from Ukraine, and it looks like you've been very close to the occupied territories. So question, have you been in Russian-controlled territory? Because Facebook is working to make sure of the privacy and security and safety of the worldwide audience and all this mess. I have no comment on that other than I replied, and I'm not worried about it at all. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Make sure if you're watching on Facebook, you get off and you come over to YouTube and watch. Make sure, because I have no clue what that's about, but I can tell you that's messed up. So other places to make sure you're keeping up with us. Of course, the YouTube channel, Greg Terry Experience. Facebook, maybe. The website, rocksolidgregterry.org. Our church website, blwc.org. Of course, on Reddit, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter. All you got to do is put in Greg Terry Experience. And we're on the final phase of having the Patreon built and rolled out. And that will give us another level of security. Yes, that'll be a small subscription, but it's going to unlock a whole new world for you guys that's going to be incredible. Even during the day as we're discovering and putting stuff together, you're going to get exclusives and inside and Zoom calls and all this other mess. So there are other options. So for sure tonight, if you're watching on Facebook, get off of it. I'm probably done on Facebook after saying that. Come over to YouTube. Always make sure you say, well, what if you just go down and all? Make sure you know the web address, gregterry.org. We will be up. I promise you, we will find a way. We have a great powerhouse team behind us. So we're going to keep giving the truth, putting the truth out, sharing and supporting Ukraine and supporting humanitarian efforts and the military effort there. So that's where we're at tonight. I want to say thank you. What an update. Been a unique day. Main topic today, of course, being that Security Council doing their thing. What I think is going to happen, Zhenya as well, Kherson, Nova Kakhovka, Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, and the forced migrant crisis. So, folks, thank you for being here tonight. Been a blessing and a joy. As always, peace to you and peace to Ukraine. We'll see you tomorrow night in 23 hours. Have a good night.